Hello, boyos, and welcome back to the MCU. We're deep diving into it. Moon Knight just finished. We watched all 6 episodes. We're coming together, discussing it, bringing back our personal loner cast collective. How many more adjectives can I add to this? Detailed movie tier list. I got lost in the sauce right there. We got the rankings up. We got the MCU rankings up, and it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. I like doing this stuff. I like talking about stuff. I like forgetting stuff and remembering it, and just being like, "Oh yeah, that did happen. I remember that." So I'm kind of glad we're doing this all as a lump sum thing rather than episode, because I feel like episodes just begin to come up and they're just like, oh, I can't wait to see what they do next episode, you know? And I feel like that's every one of our spoiler casts over here. So.
I feel like I would have comprehended things more, because I when we talk about it, I'm able to sort of process it a little bit more. But so this will be different. We're just talking about it the one time. But if I'm being honest, I'm happy we're just doing the one, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But Nick, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about Moon Knight on the whole?
On the whole, like the character,
like the show,
or the show. Okay, on the whole, I like this show.
Okay,
I think it's one of the stronger episodic stories that they did. I do have some problems with it. I won't get into that right now. We'll get into it when we get to the problems area. I do have some problems with it, and some, there's a little bit of letdown on some of these episodes. But overall, I think it's a solid mystery. Yeah. What did you think? If we rated it on a scale from 1 to 10, which we don't do here, what would you give it? I would probably give it like a 7 or an 8. What would you give it?
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 7. A medium 7.
Just to get an idea. Yeah, we don't rank here, but if we did.
Yeah. I didn't love it though. If I'm being honest, there's a lot I did love about it. For one, Oscar Isaac, I thought was just so good. He carried this show on his back. Him and Ethan Hawke just carried this show on their backs, because they're just phenomenal actors. And the fact that I was able to care about Steven and Mark separately, even though they're played by the same dude, was pretty spectacular, I would say. But I think this show has a problem that I have with a lot of these shows. I think it worked best with Hawkeye, because Hawkeye was just sort of a one-off, this is a 6-issue comic book run where it's just here's a fun little adventure that Hawkeye went on, and it worked out well. This show, I think, falls into the Falcon Winter Soldier problem, where it's too short to tell a good television show thing, but it's too long to be a movie, and it needed to pick one or the other. It needed 2 more episodes to let things breathe and explore these characters a bit more. Specifically, what's her name, Layla or whatever. I feel like she needed to get explored more. Honestly, I felt like Mark needed to be explored more. It would have been nice to see Ethan Hawke's character get flushed out a little bit more. If we're gonna tell the story in a television setting, make it 9 episodes and we can flesh out these characters a little bit more. Or this would have worked, I think, really well as a movie, and you could cut out a lot of the fat and stuff, the mystery of ooh, what's going on with Steven at the beginning. And it's okay, just at the beginning you're okay, he's fucking,
you get an idea. You get
an idea.
Just kind of throw an idea at you, and then throughout the movie they're oh, okay, I get this idea.
You don't have to play it off Mark is this reveal in the 2nd episode or whatever in a movie. It's just this is how it is. Steven doesn't know about it, but we know about Mark and Steven. But then at the end, and then that end credit scene where we get Jake Lockley at the end, that would have been a better payoff in a movie, I think. Because now I'm just fucking frustrated that it's like I spent 6 episodes and there's still another character I don't know about. Like, why didn't I know about this character until a fucking end credit scene? Like, if it was a movie, yeah, that's a good, like, plot twist. And it's like, oh, it's setting up for the sequel or whatever. And obviously, this is setting up for a sequel series, I'd imagine.
Although it's not confirmed.
It's not. It's not.
They didn't have a bumper that said like Moon Knight will continue in season 2, like Loki did, like WandaVision did, like I believe Falcon Winter Soldier had the same thing as well. Or yeah, Falcon Winter Soldier.
Well, WandaVision just had the thing that's like she will can return in Doctor Strange, right? And Falcon Winter Soldier, I don't think said anything. But yeah, Loki had a season confirmed. But there was a weird thing on Twitter where like Disney posted this thing where it's like the series finale, and then they deleted it and reposted it and said the season finale. So a little weird. But I think there
could just be a Google, autocorrect, thing, because whoever's in their thing is always typing series, season, and they just typed it up real quick and was like,
I think they probably just wanted to feel, because I know for a fact Oscar Isaac didn't sign like a multi-season deal, but they could get him back easily just by being like, here's $1 gajillion. I think they were just waiting to see how like the like fan reception and like the numbers, and I think it did like hella numbers, so I'm sure we will see a season 2, and I'm excited to see a season 2 because this just felt like a setup more than anything else, right? Like this show frustrated me in that like I was like, there's no actual show happening. I feel like this is all just set up to what the show is supposed to be,
and that's the biggest problem for me as well, is the fact that I know who Moon Knight is. I know that he is 3 people. And through the entire show, you get glimpses of Jake, right? And you're like, oh shit, are we gonna see him? Are we gonna see him? And you fucking never see him. I'm like, dude, they just fucking cock teased me the whole show.
Yeah.
The entire show. Even the point where you think it's gonna be like big reveal, it's not. And it's just kind of one of those things like, oh, okay, I guess not. And can we be done with these end credit scenes? They're so fucking bullshit at this point. It's like they cut out a part of the movie to put it in the back behind the credits.
Yeah, it works in movies.
In movies, it works.
In a television show, like we still had the cutaway where it's like Mark and Steven blacked out and they're like, what happened? And Layla's like, what did you do? And it's like, why couldn't we see that? This is the final episode. Like, let's fucking show me the goods. All right. Like, come on. Like, what the fuck is this? And like the whole show is like setting this up, and I don't know. That frustrated the fuck out of me. But there's a lot I liked about it. Like, don't get me wrong. It's
what was I gonna say? That end fight was potentially the coolest fight scene in any of these shows so far, and the blackout part of it kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah, I like the fight scene at the end. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It's really good, but then because Moon Knight, I don't know if you keep up with Moon Knight or read about it or whatnot. Moon Knight is like one of the hardest people to know his fighting style, and I believe it is he's one of the people that Taskmaster cannot duplicate, because he is 3 people essentially with all different fighting styles. And that end scene where they're switching back and forth just seamlessly, I'm like, cool, oh, dude, fuck yeah, this is awesome. This is exactly what I want. And there's a kaiju fight as well.
Yeah,
and it's cool. Like, dude, this is sick. This is really freaking cool. And then it cuts to black and we miss a whole part. And I'm like, well, that could have been really cool if it was like bam, 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 and showing off like they got this, but we got maybe 10 seconds of that sort of thing. and I felt like it was just kind of an uphill battle the whole time. Um, but one of the things that I did like about the whole show was all of the little fucking details that all kind of trace back to itself. I don't know if you knew about this, but it was pointed out to me that the fish tank in his apartment is the sand place, the afterlife sand place that they go to. It's got the little boat at the bottom of it. It's got
Oh,
like
okay.
the pyramids and stuff. And then the fish are very symbolic. Like his when he only thinks he's Steven, it's a fish that only has one fin or part of a fin, right? And then when he learns about Mark, then there's two fish, or there's a different fish in the tank. And then at the end, when there's two fish, and it's just kind of like it's very interesting how all of the little details. There's a little girl at the beginning who's like, so you didn't make it to the reeds of the field of reeds, did you? And he's like, I'm not dead yet. And then he like snaps out of it or whatever, you know. Do you remember that when
Yeah.
he's like ends up on the bus somehow? Yeah, there's a bunch of little nods. There's so many nods to it in when he's in the psych ward with Dr. Harrow. We actually do get to see Jake Lockley in that scene for about 30 seconds. And
Right.
it's like, oh, that's pretty cool.
It is
But if
confusing
you
though, because I watched with subtitles, and the subtitle said Mark says, and it's like
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
it
ruins
had
it.
the broken nose and
Yeah.
he had the boxer thing. He was talking different, and it
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah, like there's
yeah.
a lot that I like about this show. I do think it gets a little heady, like at times, and like uh confusing to maybe a more confusing than it needs to be at times as well, especially
Mhm,
since it's like not fleshed out very well. Like the whole I love the scene where or the episode where they're inside of the mental hospital or whatever, but
mhm.
it's a little confusing.
Oh,
Cuz
it's very confusing. Up
yeah,
until the
cuz
end, you don't know
you're like
what real
what is
reality is.
real, what isn't.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of like what is real, what isn't.
And I think
Uh
that's kind of the point of
right.
this is like you don't know exactly is the reality. If the fish is the reality, if it was like all in his head the whole time, or if he's actually still dead, or if
Yeah.
he's just in a
I
mental hospital.
I do think that episode is great though. Like that entire episode, it's really just like let's let Oscar Isaac go nuts and just
Hmm.
like really explore him as an actor and just let him go. And they did,
Yeah.
and it was great. And I loved watching that scene where Steven dies. Very reminiscent of Bing Bong in fucking
Oh yeah.
Inside
Yeah.
Out, which is
Inside Out. Yeah.
hilarious. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it to like be like, oh yeah, this is a show about fucking being abused.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't expecting that at all. And a lot of people were confused by the hearts, right? The hearts balancing or whatever. And then like when
Hmm.
Steven dies, it balances. And a lot of people are confused by that. I think in my mind it made sense because it's like, yeah, there's three of them. There's Jake. So if Steven dies, there's two hearts there. It's balanced now, right? That's what was going on in my
Okay.
mind because I was like, it would balance because now there's two hearts because there's two people inside of him because Steven is dead. Um, so,
Right, but the weird thing about that was that she reached into them and pulled two hearts out
but they're all
and put
just
and put
Mark,
them on the same scale.
right? Because they're all just one person, really.
Right, and it's like I don't I didn't understand that.
Well, because it's like metaphysical. It's it's like within his soul is two people.
Right.
I wonder like in 20 years when we have like more knowledge on. I know we people don't call it multiple personality disorder. Oh, I forget what like dissociative disorder or something. I don't remember what it's called. Uh, But I wonder in 20 years if people like look back on this show and be like, "That's insensitive." I don't know. I wonder.
I
But
don't know.
I
I
don't know.
mean,
I'm just saying.
you look back at a show 20 years ago, and you're like, well, it's a product of the time,
Yeah,
you know?
I'm wondering if this will be one of those shows though, where they're like, they kind of like he's like embracing his other personalities, which I guess is good, but like, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe
Right?
we've learned something in that time that's like, well, maybe that's not the best idea or something
Yeah,
like that.
right. Because it's not really him. He's using that as a coping mechanism, and like it's
Mhm.
not a very good coping mechanism, but he learns to live with it or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Um, One thing I will say about the show though is that the outfits are fucking sick, dude. Moon Knight looks sick as hell, and
I
I like Mr. Knight too. Steven.
mhm.
I think he looks sick as hell too. I think they both look really sick.
I didn't really like the CG Moon Knight a whole lot.
I
I
thought it
felt
looked
it
fucking great, dude, and I like
I
the way
felt it looked a
Khonshu looks as
little
well.
cheesy. I
Oh,
felt
I
it
thought it
looked
was
a
great.
little cheesy, but like I liked Mr. Knight for sure.
I also don't think it's as CG as you think it is.
It could, I don't know. It could be. It could, I don't know.
Yeah, because I know Oscar Isaac was like running around set in that thing, so
Hmm.
I don't think it's as CG as you think it is.
No.
Obviously, a lot of it is like the fight scenes and stuff where he's
Mm.
fucking floating around, and it looks
Yeah,
cool as
and
hell with
well,
the
and
half moon.
also the weird thing was like I thought the one of the weirdest parts was where he turns into a fucking jet, and you're like, oh, okay, this happens now. Yeah, this is how it works. But
Yeah,
we don't know enough about Mark and Khonshu and their relationship to
right,
actually be like, how long has he been doing this? How
and
like what powers does he know he has? You know, so
that's what I was saying. I was like, I even feel like we didn't get enough of Mark in this show. It was sort of like
mm,
Mark is revealed, and now we love Mark, and it's like, why do we love Mark? I don't know why we love Mark. I don't know who Mark is. I don't know who Layla is really. Like
yeah,
I really
well,
don't know who these characters are, other than now they're here and they're with Steven, and I know Steven because he was with me at the beginning of this fucking, and we got to see a day in his life. I don't know who Mark is. I don't know who Layla is. Like other than this like brief time that we've been with them. Like how long has Mark been with Khonshu? Like how
yeah,
long has this been going on? How long did he leave his wife and
yeah,
stuff? When did
yeah,
he get with his wife? Obviously he's like a war veteran or something. He's mentioned that. But
a
like
mercenary, yeah,
yeah, he was like a mercenary or something. Or he was a war veteran, got kicked out cuz he's insane and then became a mercenary or something. We
right,
got that little bit of dialogue, but it's like I don't really know who this character is, and I feel like it's because they had to do this in 6 episodes, and the first episode had to be like, oh, what's going on with Steven? And then the second episode it's like, well, Mark's here, but they're kind of battling. We don't get to know Mark in that second episode. We just know that
hmm,
Mark exists in that episode.
yeah,
And then the third, yeah, and then we finally get to know him a little bit, but like yeah, I just felt like we didn't get to explore these characters nearly enough
yeah.
for it to be justified.
I
I
agree.
feel like I'm
I
downing on
agree.
this show way too much, but
No, it is a very good show with good fight scenes and good, you know, acting for sure. There are some great acting scenes in it. Um,
some of the
Oscar
best in the
Isaac,
show for sure,
yeah,
or in the like Marvel
in the
shows.
yeah, Oscar Isaac does a great, you know, uh, British accent, I guess, and
But it's all broken up and like a little fucked up.
yeah, it's a little fucked up, and I enjoy it. I really like his
Or
take on it.
yeah, it's really cheesy because he's like doing an impression on purpose.
Right.
Yeah, it's very good. And like his facial expressions, like when he switches from Mark to Steven, like
Hmm.
really good. And then even at the end when we get to see Jake for that one fucking scene, it's like, damn, he
Well,
looks
we see him for two scenes, but yeah,
yeah, but when we like officially see him
right.
in the hat and everything, but like it's like, oh damn, this guy looks menacing as hell,
Hmm.
and uh yeah, Oscar Isaac's fucking great. I love Ethan Hawke as well. I thought he was really good. Like as that like cult leader type guy. I thought he was really good. Like Jim Jones vibes, like
Yeah.
And as cheesy as this line was, I fucking loved it. Where he was like, "You don't need to see my papers. I need to see your souls." I loved it, dude. It was so cheesy, and I loved it.
It was dumb.
I loved it. Dumb. I loved it.
That staff was so fucking powerful. It was just like, whatever you needed to do. Oh, you needed to rip souls from people? All right, just bang it on the ground. Oh, you needed to open a door? Just bang it on the ground. Oh, what else do you need to summon something? No, just bang it on the ground. Okay, well, the fuck, whatever. Like,
yeah.
Oh, and then there's a lot of like little things, like especially like the chant that they do to get Amit into Haru's body. She's like, just follow my lead, and like they just start chanting together, and it's like, okay, I guess they know. But yeah, and Jesus, holy crap, how fucked up is the world right now of Marvel, right? Because we got a couple of things in just this that have happened, but I'll go over it. So far, we have a town of people who were imprisoned and enslaved, right? We got not an eternal. What are they called? A celestial coming out of like the fucking ocean
in the sky and shit. Yeah.
We've got and now we've got ancient Egyptian gods battling each other, and people literally getting their souls ripped out of their bodies.
A terrorist group like trying to blow up London or whatever.
Day turned to fucking night. So what the hell is happening with the time? Like, at all? The time just makes no sense. Like, are people now gonna have to fall asleep? Like, everybody's just gonna have to switch their schedules now? Like, fuck, I guess I'm going to work when it's midnight because it never got changed back. Like,
I think it did, though. I think, like, once they looked
at... So?
Yeah, I think once they looked at the constellation that they needed to see or whatever, it fucking went back. Like,
then he does it again.
Yeah.
To make Moon Knight fly, and then the whole thing is at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, like, he switches back, and it goes back to normal.
Okay. Yeah, just retcon the whole thing. Yeah.
I don't think it's a retcon. I think it's just like, it snaps back to reality.
They just didn't
there
show.
Goes gravity or whatever, you know.
Yeah. I'm just saying, this world is fucked up, dude.
But the Marvel universe has been fucked up for a while. I mean, fucking Thanos snapped half the people out of existence.
Yeah, and that's where it all gets like crazy.
Yeah, I think
we didn't have anything too crazy until Infinity War.
Yeah, the MCU's in a weird fucking spot right now. I mean, there was some weird shit before the MCU though, because I mean, like New York got fucking blown the shit up by like
aliens,
by fucking lizard
aliens,
snake, worm things, and like London got fucked up by in Thor
aliens,
and fucking things got sucked out of the ground and like thrown up in the sky and shit by robots, and like there's all sorts of crazy shit going on in the MCU. But I will say, like, the blip does create a lot of complications within the MCU. And I think at a certain point, the MCU is going to have to, like, maybe go to a...
Reset? Fucking reset?
I don't know if they'll reset or if they'll just be like, that still exists, that Earth. That's, like, Earth 312 or whatever.
That Earth got fucked up. Yeah.
Now in the movies, we're going to explore Earth 123.
Here's another dimension,
because that Earth is too confusing and weird. Because a lot of shit has happened, and eventually they're gonna want to explore doing Iron Man and all of them again. So, but I do wonder, like, where is Moon Knight heading? Right, like, where is this heading? I think we'll probably get a season 2, but I also wonder if this is setting up sort of the Midnight Suns. And I think Moon Knight is going to be part of the Midnight Suns. Because I think Marvel is sort of teasing out like the start of the Midnight Suns. And I think we're going to get a Daredevil series. He's going to be part of the Midnight Suns. and then we're gonna get the Blade movie. That's gonna be part of the Midnight
True.
Suns.
True.
The dude from Eternals who like gets the sword, he'll be part of the
Hmm.
Midnight Suns. I think we're like setting that up right now,
Yeah, I could see that.
and I think
I
this is like
could.
the beginning of that.
Yeah, I could see
Just
that.
theorizing here.
And I like that. I don't know where Moon Knight could go after this. Um,
I do
I
know
really.
there was supposed to be like an Eternals uh reference within the show, and they decided against it. Like they tried to get Kumail Nanjiani to be in an episode of the show, and they're
Oh.
like, we could use that budget elsewhere, and decided not to do it.
Hmm.
So, which would make sense because like Eternals are gods, and then you know we've got these Egyptian
Yeah.
gods, so it would make
Yeah.
sense to have them. Like, how do these things work together? Like, how does this exist while this exists? But also Thor exists, who's a god. But apparently in Thor, we're getting fucking uh, what's the other lightning guy?
Oh.
Zeus. We're getting fucking
Zeus. Yeah.
Zeus as well, and it's like there's so many gods. What does this
Yeah.
mean? What is real? I think what Marvel needs to do, and they need to capitalize on it quickly. They need to do it now. They need to make a Marvel comic right now, like a comic, so then in 10 years they can reference this comic when they put it into the movies. They need to make a Jesus Christ comic book.
I was just about to say something
Yeah.
about Jesus
Make
Christ. I don't think
his superpower,
Jesus.
he fucking walks on water, he runs on water, he's super fast, he's like a
No, 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 no,
telepath.
no, no.
He
No,
wears
see,
a crown of thorns, and he's like, "Let's
dude, that's
go."
fucked up. All right,
Why
all
is
right.
that
So
fucked
that
up? Why is that
because
fucked up?
like you think he would just want to wear a crown of thorns?
No, it's a symbol, dude.
Oh,
It's a
it's a
symbol.
symbol. So he'd also be walking around on a fucking cross,
I mean, he
or he
maybe,
has a cross
yeah,
necklace,
he'd
or
wear
he
like,
uses a cross like a fucking bazooka,
or
right?
he's like Constantine, and he's got like the cross gun. You know,
Oh my god. I think Jesus needs to
I
stay
think
out of it.
no, I think we
Uh,
need Jesus in the MCU
no,
so we can
no, no, no.
finally admit that Jesus Christ is a fictional character.
I
Because
like
that's what
that.
happens with these gods, right? Fucking, we're getting political here, but they're at one moment people believed in Thor and Zeus and these guys, and then everyone's like, "Oh, that's ridiculous," and then they made like fun stories out of it. Well, that's gonna happen with Jesus. I think right now is the time to do that. Let's make Jesus a fun character. We'll put Buddha in there. Let's fucking go. Buddha for the MCU. I'm fighting for it.
I mean, what would he do? He would just be like,
Buddha?
no. Yeah, he would just be like, no, and everybody has to stop fighting or whatever.
I think Buddha would be like Boo from Dragon Ball.
He would just want candy all the time.
Yeah, and he's just like big and
and
fat, like but like
oh my god.
unstoppable. Unstoppable.
Yeah, okay, all right. I guess. I
Or
guess you're absolutely right.
or he's like the guy in My Hero Academia where like when he absorbs punches he gets fatter or whatever.
I don't know that one.
You haven't watched My Hero. Well, there's
I've
this
seen
guy. There's this
couple
guy
of
that's like really fat. But there's flashbacks of him and he's all buff and shit, and you're like, what? And then you find out it's because when he absorbs punches, he absorbs the punches and uses that force. So he's been absorbing punches for years and
Oh my
years,
god.
and has just become like really fat.
That's a cool character idea.
Dude, My
honestly.
Hero has the best superheroes for real.
It's My Hero is very much like X-Men.
Yeah, totally.
Um
But like more interesting. No offense,
More
X-Men. I love X-Men. This is my favorite Marvel stuff, but
before we get too off topic and roll
right.
on a tangent, let's do some trivia. How about?
Yes.
All right. I've got a couple here. These are kind of long, honestly. I'm looking at this list and they just go on for a second. So we might only do a couple of these. Starting with Oscar Isaac told Empire magazine in February 2022 that he invited his neighbor, Ethan Hawke, to play the role of Arthur Hollow in Moon Knight after bumping into him at a coffee shop in Brooklyn during the COVID-19 pandemic. And after watching Hawke in The Good Lord Bird, I've never heard of that, Isaac is also an executive producer of the series. I did not know that.
Oh yeah, it says his name at the end.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So that is cool. Speaking of Arthur Hollow, he is the main villain in the show, and he was a minor character who appeared in just one issue of the Moon Knight comics, the second issue of Volume 2, which was published in 1985. The show's creator Jeremy Slater said during a Q&A in his Twitter account on March of 2022 that Arthur Harrow was chosen as the main villain for the show because Moon Knight's only recognizable villain was Bushman, who just felt too close to Black Panther's Eric Killmonger, so they decided to create a new villain instead. Slater also said that Ethan Hawke in particular was instrumental in creating Hollow. Yeah, I'm glad that they did something different that also gives them some leeway when you take such an obscure character and you're like, well, this is like all of the lines that he has, and this is all the research we have to do. Let's make a superhero based off of like this one book. It'd be pretty easy because then if they made another Arthur Harrow like Moon Knight comic, then it would be based off of what we have right now. So it makes it really nice and easy. It's very
that does tend to happen too, where like the MCU takes inspiration from the comics, and then the comics take inspiration from the MCU and stuff, and
it also doesn't piss off the fans.
Everyone's cool with it.
Everybody's just like, yeah, that one random character. Yeah, I don't need because you can't be like, oh, he would never do that. Because in book comic number 6154 of episode 3, this printing, he says something completely different, and they're like,
well, to be fair, I imagine these people exist, but like no one was really a fan of Moon Knight before this, and if you told me you were, you're lying. You're fucking lying. I'd never heard of Moon Knight before this show.
I actually know a couple of people who have been talking about Moon Knight since like before Age of Ultron. Actually,
They're liars.
I remember there's a guy on TikTok that's just like all about it. And he's like, I want there to be a Moon Knight thing, and then they're like, oh, Moon Knight show, and he's like, what? So, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm sure there are people who like Moon Knight. Obviously, the comic exists, but it's not like fucking Iron Man.
No, no, yeah.
Straight up, like even know the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy were bigger than Moon Knight, and Guardians were pretty small fish before.
I never heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy before Guardians of the Galaxy. So
I had, but like, I had never like read a Guardians thing.
Okay, so Moon Knight was in Werewolf by Night, number 32, 1975. So he's been around for quite some fucking time. Volume 1 was released in 1980. So that's 40 years of lore.
Yeah, I know he's been around for a while, but longer than Deadpool.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Lonercast MCU rankings list. What we, Jake and I, believe is the correct order, best movies from best to worst. I don't know how the fuck to introduce this. This is our ranking list from 1 to 32 now of the entire MCU movies and shows. So let's get started. Number 1, Avengers Endgame. Number 2, Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. Number 3, Loki. 4, Iron Man. 5, Avengers Infinity War. 6, Spider-Man No Way Home. 7, Thor Ragnarok. 8, Guardians of the Galaxy. 9, WandaVision. 10, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. 11, Eternals. 12, Captain America Civil War. 13, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. 14, Spider-Man Far From Home. 15, Spider-Man Homecoming. 16, Captain America and the First Avenger. 17, Ant-Man. 18, Black Panther. 19, Doctor Strange. 20, The Avengers, the first one. 21, Hawkeye. 22, Black Widow. 23, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. 24, Iron Man 3. 25 Avengers Age of Ultron, 26 Iron Man 2, 27 Incredible Hulk, 28 Ant-Man and the Wasp, 29 Captain Marvel, 30 Thor the Dark World, and 31 Thor. Um that's what we got so far. We got a place, Moon Knight. Do you have a location that you would like to put this, Jacob? Do you have
Yeah.
do you know where you would put this?
Yeah, can you scroll down a little?
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Um,
How's that? Is that good?
I'd put it
That's probably
below. I would put it below Iron Man 3.
good. Ooh, not a fan. Really? Below Iron Man 3.
Second thought.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Can I put it above Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Okay.
I thought about it for a minute, and I'm like, it's not that bad. I did
Oh,
like Black Widow more, though, for sure.
okay.
What do you think?
Man, that's pretty fucking low.
It's
I gotta
hard.
think about
It's really
I
hard
gotta
because,
think
like,
about it.
I don't know, man. I feel like Hawkeye should be higher. I like Hawkeye a lot. Um,
Yeah.
but honestly, like everything above that are like I like everything above that. Like I'm looking at the list and I'm like, I just like these movies more than this.
Yeah.
It's not that like because even Falcon and Winter Soldier, like it's not a bad show. I like that show too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ah, that's a tough one for me. Did I like it more than Black Widow? Did I like it more than Black Widow? Maybe? Did I like it more than Hawkeye? Maybe? Okay, so where I'm getting caught up right here is I'll agree with you, it's better than Falcon Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
However, this is my area that I'm like, it could go anywhere in there. It could go above Avengers. It could go below Black Widow. Anywhere over there. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I don't mind putting it number 23 because it kind of falls in that spot, right? I feel like all these are kind of interchangeable for me at this point. So I'll agree with you. If you want to put it there, last word.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
All right, we'll put it there. We'll put Moon Knight right there. Man, that is lower than I thought it would be. In hindsight,
Hey, what do you
I'm
what
thinking
are you gonna
about
do?
it. I don't know, man.
What are you gonna do?
Think I mean, it's yeah. I like the themes in it. I really like the themes in it, but the fact that it's a show kind of ruins it for me. The fact that they fucking cock tease you the entire time is like it's disappointing. It's a really disappointing thing. And the ending is also kind of disappointing. Um, I think Marvel just needs to, or Disney just needs to stop fucking with the Marvel movies, Marvel shows, and going like, there'll be another season in 6 years when all the actors are dead or old. You know, it's
Well, and
I
it's
feel
also like we got the other thing where it's like we didn't see the alligator until the last episode. uh, or
yeah.
whatever. And it's like we get
Well,
that every single one of these shows is like we don't see the villain until like the end. At least we got Ethan Hawke in this one, like through the whole
yeah,
show, which is
yeah,
nice.
yeah, and that they need to stop doing that. They need to make concise seasons that stand on their own without having to need a second season to explain what the fuck is going on. You know? I think that's their biggest problem right now is the fact that these seasons can't stand on their own. They need a crutch for you to look forward to. And it's like, no, you just make a good show, people will want a second season. Even if it doesn't have, a stay tuned cliffhanger in it. People will be like, "Oh, when's season 2 of Moon Knight coming out?" I know he died, but, you could write him back in, like shit like that. It's
Yeah.
It's one of those things that's just kind of it's depressing. And I feel like Moon Knight kind of got shafted because right now I'm just in that mindset of, man, I just want a show that I can watch through. And I hope Kenobi, Obi-Wan, whatever the show is called, is going to be better, and they're not going to be like, oh, wait until season 2 of Kenobi. You know, I hope they don't do that kind of bullshit, and it's more of like, this is a Star Wars story, and that's it. This is all we're putting out, and I hope that's it. Anyway, thanks for watching the Lonercast spoiler cast on the Lonercast channel at Lonercast, YouTube, twitch.tv/Lonercast, all of that good stuff. Lonercast1 on Twitter. Jake is at emergency pizza _. I am at fatal _microwave. Make sure you check out all of our other Lonercast shows, such as Last Week in Games and other projects that we have lined up. Tonight, Jake and I are seeing the critically acclaimed Shrek 3.
Hell
No, I'm
yeah.
just kidding. I'm just
Shrek
kidding.
Forever After. Come on now.
Yeah, that's it. We're watching that. We're doing that. No, we're doing Multiverse of Madness tonight. So look out for that video coming out very soon as well. And you know, stay cool. It's hot out there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.